それじゃあてめえは地獄の底で寝ぼけな。落下するより早く攻撃してくるなんてそんな。
Based on Araki's desire to mix life with machine, the moon hunts its enemies and takes them out one by one. Hello everyone, my name is TheNadei, and today I will explain and discuss the 7th stand in the series, Dark Blue Moon. And since there isn't much left to be said, let's jump right into it. Now, Dark Blue Moon is based on the before mentioned tarot card of the moon. Upright it stands for unconscious, illusions, intuition, while reversed it means confusion, fear and misinterpretation. However, depending on the version of the tarot card, the words on screen may also come into play. Hidden enemies, danger, calumny, darkness, terror, deception, occult forces, error, instability, inconstancy, silence, lesser degrees of deception and error. Like, do I have to say more? What is shown here each describes what occurred in the arc of the Dark Blue Moon. Like the enemy being hidden from the Crusaders' sight, or the danger of the Crusaders unknowingly find themselves in, the calumny of the captain, the darkness of the sea and the dark intentions of the enemy, the terror as the group realizes what might be happening, the paranormal and occult forces of a stand at work, the error that the Crusaders believe Annie is the real stand user, but also the error that the captain fought for JoJo's trap. And as a last example, the silence of the sea and the silence of Captain Tennille, once he was found out. Dark Blue Moon is a natural humanoid stand with aquatic features. It appears to look like a merfolk-like entity with a flat head, 4 eyes, a large dorsal fin lining most of its back, additional fins on its legs, openings for jet propulsion, and webbed hands and feet. In basically every media, Dark Blue Moon is portrayed as some sort of shade of blue with reddish patterns. Dark Blue Moon has no personality whatsoever, however, it does emote alongside its user a lot. Like the other villain stands of the part, Dark Blue Moon has below average stats, starting with a C in destructive power. While not too notable, this still allowed the beast to crush the still running propeller of the boat and slice a shark in half with no effort. The same goes for the speed, range and precision. Dark Blue Moon has a C in all 3 of those categories as well, giving it average capabilities. I suppose it is to note that Dark Blue Moon can swim a fair distance away from its user without any harm. Its persistence is a B, likely referring to its barnacles, which are tough to get rid of once they have latched onto their victim. And the potential is horrible because, my god guys, it's a villain stand with 3 chapters of appearance. He barely has a right to exist. Like, come on, he doesn't even have a goddamn name. Jesus Christ! Where was I? Alright, its abilities. Now, Dark Blue Moon is a marine-based close-range stand, meaning its stand sets are even more irrelevant than normally because its capabilities drastically change between underwater and on land combat. For example, the speed is so high underwater that Moon can create powerful whirlpools by merely spinning its webbed limbs. And the captain also states that Moon is faster than any fish in the world. Dark Blue Moon can also shoot out the razor-sharp scales on its body as projectiles, throwing them out against their enemies. But not just that, it is able to combine them with its ability to create whirlpools, with which it can create a dangerous hail of scales that damages those trapped in the water, but also prevents outsiders from diving in and interfere. And now the most terrifying ability of all. Barnacles. No, seriously. Once physically touched by a foe, Dark Blue Moon attaches barnacles to their bodies, slowly spraying from the point of contact across their entire body. The barnacles drain the target of their strength and thus reduce the danger even further. Also, they allow Dark Blue Moon slight control over the infected body parts, allowing it to drag its foes back into the water if they try to escape. And as random trivia, Dark Blue Moon's stand user can hold their breath for up to 6 minutes and 12 seconds. As you can see, this stand is quite terrifying, and another showcase of how Araki had to come up with something to even have the Crusaders stand a chance. Realistically speaking, what could the Crusaders have done against it, due to its ability to pick enemies off one by one? Star Platinum would only defeat it with its clutch save of the Star Finger. Outside of that, it and JoJo would likely be unable to win a fight. Magician's Threat would be at a complete disadvantage, We know that its fire can boil water, and perhaps it would be able to use some sort of scalding water or steam to fight Dark Blue Moon, but really, realistically speaking, it stands no chance against the Marine stand. Horrid Purple, however, is interesting, as I doubt barnacles would grow on it, and even if, it could still attempt to squeeze the air out of its enemy's lungs. Problem is, Dark Blue Moon is most likely strong enough to break free, and its scales could perhaps cut Hermit Purple apart as well. While I can see scenarios where Joseph would win, it's more likely that he would lose, so a tie. Now, Hierophant Green is interesting, because it's perfectly capable of fighting underwater. I would almost argue that Hierophant Green would win this battle 9 out of 10 times. Its range, part of the ability to set up traps, even when underwater, should give it the advantage. The Whirlpool might make some trouble, but again, I do believe it could stand up to the enemy. And last but definitely not least, Silver Chariot should be able to have this fight go almost exactly like it did in the arc. The ability to shoot a rapier out would end this fight like Starfinger did. However, unlike Starfinger, the attack lacks concentrated power to break through the barnacles, so if the sword is affected, the fight is basically over. All in all, this stand is an extremely powerful and versatile stand, with a terrifying defense and an incredible offense, as long as it's in the water. A good example of extremely specific stands that probably were so powerful that Araki had to make something up to defeat the user. And not just defeat, Jotaro killed him by splitting his skull open, leading him to drown or succumbing to his wounds. Both. Anyhow, this was my look at Dark Blue Moon, the second true enemy stand the Crusaders faced. Cutting out the other stuff since, honestly, for these stands I'm just repeating myself. Let me know down in the comments below if you like this version of the videos, because I think I finally found my style. Anyhow, have a good day everyone. Next up on the list is Strength.